Hello Clever Pickles, welcome to today's handwriting lesson where we are continuing to practice using exit flicks in some of our letters as we prepare for cursive handwriting, also known as running writing. Today we are going to be using the letters H, K and L to practice, but before we start we need to do some warm-ups, so make sure your hands are ready, make sure your pen or your pencil is ready, that you're seated properly, that you're holding your pencil properly, not too tight, not too loose and not too close to the end. And we're going to start with the long date today. Now for me the date today is Tuesday and it is the 12th of May, but if it's a different date for you, make sure you're writing the date that you have. And this is just a warm up for my hand. And you can see I'm starting to use some exit flicks on some of my letters. That's because I've practiced this. If you're not used to this yet, that's okay. Just write yours in print like you normally would. It is May. And it is the year 2020 and my numbers go all the way up to that top dotted line like a capital would. Excellent. Okay, let's start today with the letter L. Let's keep it simple. Now if you've done our other letters before, you've seen that we just use a downward stroke starting at the top dotted line up here. We're going to go straight down and end in a flick. Okay, let's put our pencil or pen at the top dotted line, straight down and end in a flick. It doesn't have to be a huge curve at the end there. Let's leave a finger space and try that again. Top dotted line, straight down with a little exit flick. Beautiful. Don't start up here too high, otherwise you're going to cross over into other letters. Now remember, you don't need to rub out, just put a cross and let's move on to the next one. If we rub out, we waste a bunch of time and then make a mess. Finger space, top dotted line, straight down to my straight line and end in a little flick. You don't need to come down the bottom into this space here because then it will cross over into other letters and it would not be the right size or shape. Starting at the top dotted line, straight down, little flick. Now you want your flick to be almost halfway in this section here, like there's an imaginary line there. If I go too big, it's going to come up and start crossing over into other letters and then it doesn't look like an L. Okay, let's move on to the next one now. Let's try a letter H. Straight line down and then it bumps around like a letter N. Straight line down and bump around with a tail at the end. See, it's only very little. So let's try this again. Start at the top dotted line, straight line down, bump like an N and little tail at the end. Now if I make that bump too big, it does look like a gigantic N. We do not want that. So let's make sure that this second part here stays in those main two line sections in the body section. So let's start at the top dotted line, straight down, bump over, small exit flick for our tail. Excellent. Let's do two more. Straight line down, bump it over, little tail. Now if I do it too small, it's going to end up looking almost like an L. So make sure that you're using that whole space up. Okay, our next one is the letter K. And this is where it gets a little bit trickier because we have to do almost a little bow tie shape, I like to call it. So if you've done the print video, it's the exact same process except we're just finishing with a little flick at the end. So we start like a H with our straight line down. We do a little bow and flick. So this section here all stays in the main two straight lines here. That part is nice and round so that it makes that flick part easier. And that straight line is the exact same way that we've done the L and the H. So let's try that again. Top dotted line, straight line down, lift my pencil, curve around, and then flick. Let's try that again. Straight line down. I'm putting my pencil almost in the middle section here. curve around and flick. Now if you do it too small, that's a bit hard to tell what it is. And then if you do it too big, it looks like an R. So let's just stick to our normal way of doing it. Straight line down, curve around and flick. Excellent. Let's try and put some of these together. So let's start with HL. L is going to be an easy one to curve into. So let's go H. My tail is going to flick up into the L that goes to the top dotted line, comes back down, and then ends with my exit flick. Finger space, and let's try that again. Top dotted line, straight down, bump over, and let your flick go into that L, back down, end in your exit flick. Let's try one more. If I'm going too fast, just pause the video. Start at the top dotted line here, straight down, bump around, and let it go straight into the L without lifting your pencil. Excellent. We're going to do 3 more, but now we're going to do KL. So straight line down, just like the K. Let's do our bump and our flick, but don't lift your pencil, straight into that L and down with a flick. Let's try that one again. Straight line down, bump, down for your flick, but straight up into that L and end in your exit flick. Let's try one more. Straight line down, bump around, exit flick into the L and finishing with an exit flick. Excellent. Make sure you practice these kinds of things in other books and other paper as well, so you can make sure the shape and size of your letters are accurate. Have fun with your handwriting, guys. See you in the next lesson. Bye.